Hello dear viewers, praise the Lord. I hope you are all safe and sound at your home. It's the Independence Day today, so happy Independence Day to you all. May God bless our country and it may progress by leaps and bounds. In my last video, we had discussed about the motivational tips which are very important to captivate the attention of our students, and once we teachers are successful in getting the attention of the students and making our start interesting for them, then we will not lose the control over them, or we will also not have any discipline problem in the class. Rather, the students will be listening to us with great attention and will be taking interest, provided that not only the first step of the lesson, that is motivation, but the rest of the steps also go in a very enthusiastic and interesting way. So the second step after motivation that is very important is the presentation skills. How do the teachers present their lessons? It's very important, because explanation, presentation, they are actually the most important part of the professional lesson planning. So many of us are good at our content. I always say many of our teachers are the highly qualified teachers and they know their subject very well, but the little attention that has to be paid is towards how to impart that subject matter to our students so that they understand it well and enjoy the lessons as well. So I have few tips to present the lesson in an interesting way for the students, and I'm sure these tips will really be helpful, especially for the beginners. So the first thing is sequencing the subject matter. No matter whatever subject, dear teachers, you are teaching, before we actually teach in the classroom, we need to plan the lesson. And when we are planning the lesson, especially we need to read the content that we have to teach to the children the next day. And when we go through that subject matter, we need to be dividing that subject matter into 3 parts. The first part will be must know. This will cover the most important things that are required in the book for the students to know. The second will be should know. Now this part of the subject matter will be the examples through which the teacher actually explains the must know content of the subject. And the third is nice to know. This is some additional information which we teachers always share with our students, and they are just to make students, to widen the students' knowledge and to make them enjoy the lesson beyond the books. So when we have this ability to break my subject matter into these 3 parts, it will really go very successful. And of course we know that towards the end we have to mostly emphasize the must know content and should know content of the subject matter or of our topic. And as I always say, the teacher has to be very confident and enthusiastic, active, because I believe active teachers will have active students and enthusiastic teachers will have enthusiastic students as well. So if the teacher herself is tired and weird and is just like dry in the class, how can she expect the students to be actively participating in the lesson? So for that, the teacher has to present herself very active so that the students get the same energy from the teachers and they are active as well. And that will depend on the way you actually impart your knowledge and explain your subject matter. If you explain enthusiastically, actively, with the energy, with the examples, and in a natural way, automatically you will create a relationship, a good communication with the students, and they will always be listening to you attentively. So the voice quality counts a lot. There must be clear projection of voice of the teacher. If the teacher just murmurs to herself, and if she is most of the time just writing and talking to the board and has lost the eye contact with the students, then she can never even expect a little sort of attention from the students to behave well in the class. Because your eye contact with them actually give you the guarantee of their attentive listening. So it's very, very important that the teacher has to be loud, she has to be clear. Whatever she says, even the person sitting at the end of the class must be able to listen to you clearly. And when it happens, then nobody in the class loses the attention or the interest. The language that we teachers use to explain our lesson must match to the student's level. I have also seen it myself, being the principal, when I had to observe the teachers teaching in the classroom. So I would observe them, they know their content, they know the subject matter, and they would wish to impart everything what they know to the students without thinking the level of the students, the language which they use, whether the students would understand or not. So while teaching, we at times forget that we know it and the vocabulary we use it good to ourselves, but we have to see we are there to make the things interesting for the students, not to make them difficult for them. हमने अपनी vocabulary का रोप तो बच्चों पे नहीं झाड़ना ना, हमने उनको simple way से सिखाना है ताकि उनको जब समझ आए तो फिर वो उसमें इंटरेस्ट ले. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है डियर टीचर्स कि आप जब समझा रहे हैं तो आप बच्चों के लेवल पे आके उनकी जुबान में उनको समझाते हैं, सिंपल लैंग्वेज यूज करते हैं, और हमेशा आप कोशिश करते हैं कि आप जब भी एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं आप नोन टू अननोन एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. हम उनके प्रीवियस नॉलेज को लेके चलते हैं ताकि बच्चों को समझना आसान हो जाए, और फिर जब हम नोन से अननोन की तरफ जाते हैं, कंक्रीट से अब्स्ट्रैक्ट नॉलेज की तरफ जाते हैं, स्टेप बाय स्टेप, तो बच्चों को बहुत क्लियर समझ आती है. तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि द लैंग्वेज दैट वी यूज मैचेस विद द लेवल ऑफ द स्टूडेंट सो दैट दे अंडरस्टैंड एंड दे आर नॉट लॉस्ट. रादर आई वुड से इट जस्ट टेक अ सेकेंड इफ देयर इज सम वर्ड दैट seems to be easy to you but might be difficult for maybe a single child sitting in the class who is very shy, would not even stand up and ask a question from you. So it's good just to explain that word as well, to be at a safe side, instead of saying ये लफ्ज़ तो आपको आता ही होगा, ये तो आपको पता ही होगा, ये तो आपने पिछली क्लास में पढ़ा ही होगा. क्योंकि हो सकता है कोई एक दो वहां पर ऐसा बैठा हो जिसको ना पता हो. तो एक सेकंड लगता है अगर हम थरली एक्सप्लेन करते हुए हर चीज को एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. जिनको आता है उनकी रिवीजन हो जाती है, और जो शायद इनकॉन्फिडेंट बच्चे होते हैं उनके नॉलेज में आ जाता है. तो ये बहुत जरूरी है कि जब टीचर अपना आई कांटेक्ट रखती है बच्चों के साथ तो वो उनके फेशियल एक्सप्रेशन को पढ़ रही होती है. I would always do that when I have my eye contact with each student sitting in my class. So I read their gestures and I read their facial expression, and I can understand through their facial expression like this whether they have understood or not. And when they understand, believe me, their eyes sparkle with the happiness that they have known something new. And being teacher for the last 22 years, I have experienced these beautiful gestures of the students and the facial expression myself. So it's very, very important that whatever language we use to explain our subject matter, that matches to the level of the student. The next thing that we need to keep in our mind is the appropriate resources must be used effectively. If we have some charts, some flashcards, some model, or the pictures maybe in the book, we should know, rather I must say we must know where to use them and how to use them and how to relate the appropriate AV aids with the explanation that we are giving. If the AV aid doesn't match with your explanation, then it will be of no use as well. So it's very important to use the appropriate resources effectively to make your subject matter effective for the students. And then sometimes the teachers are explaining themselves and they think that they need to be actually evaluating or asking the students after finishing their topic whether they have understood or not. And this at times, okay, with certain topics this thing is successful, but most of the time it is not. So it's very important, like you have explained one point, and then it's good to be asking students about their understanding and giving them the time to think and to respond to the teacher. We at times ask questions and bombard students with so many questions and do not give them time to think and to respond to you. And if the child is not able to answer quickly, we just go on to the next child. I'm sorry, which is not right at all. When we have started our explanation, it's very, very important that I need to be involving students into my lecture through questioning. And when I am observant in the class and I am having eye contact in the class with each and every child sitting in my class, then I would read their gestures and I would feel either they are getting or not, or they are getting bored. So once you have that feeling, it's very important to stop there and then to have some activity in the class that will energize them once again. And usually, I said in my last video as well, questioning is the technique that is the best tool of teaching, and it really has a great impact on the students. During your lessons, when you are keep on asking short questions about what you have explained from the students, you are actually letting them be with you and they will not lose their attention. So it's important to involve the students in the explanation while you are teaching your lesson through questioning throughout the lesson. And then, of course, at the end, the teacher has to check the explanation whether it is understood or not. So I'm sure that all these points will make the content matter actually very much presentable for your students, and it will help them to understand you well. And believe me, once the students understand you well and we are successful to satisfy them, then the students will always be obeying us, will be respecting us, and will always be listening to us. So dear teachers, it's very important to present the lessons in an effective and interesting way, and these little tips will really be helpful to you to prepare your lesson and to explain your lesson in an interesting way in the class. I'm sure you are going to listen to my video till the end to understand this well, and once you have understood, it's very important and will be a sign of encouragement for me as well when you comment about it and you give me your feedback and even the suggestion that you need to ask, and I will be talking about them in my next videos as well. And now in my upcoming videos, I will be starting teaching grammar, English grammar, as it is my subject. And whatever I have discussed with you, I have shared with you the steps of the lesson planning. I will be now teaching the grammar topics with the same steps being implemented in my lessons, and which will be the clear examples for you, dear teachers, to prepare your lesson and to teach them with the same energy. So thank you very much. I hope all those who have listened to me till the end would really enjoy it. And so thank you very much, dear listeners. God bless you all, and see you in my next video. Till then, take great care of yourself. Bye-bye.